Oprah Winfrey, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. These are some of the largest personal brands in human history in terms of name recognition and their global impact. They've all built multiple brands, but it's their personal brand that we remember. Now, imagine you walking through a grocery store and having someone come up to you and say, "I saw you on YouTube and your video changed my life." That is personal branding. People start to know you personally rather than the products and the services that you sell. Remember, people want to do business with people. And right now, with all of the digital tools at your fingertips, there's no better time to go all in on personal branding. But you're probably asking, well, how do I even get started with a personal brand? In this episode, Sean sits down with Chris Ducker, who's a #1 best-selling author and the creator of Youpreneur. He is the leading expert when it comes to understanding the 3-step process to creating a powerful and effective personal brand. And he's breaking down each step for you so you can get clear on what your next move is. And make sure you stick around until the end, where Chris shares the no-miss way to making money right now with your personal brand. Also, if you know a business owner in your life who needs to hear this, make sure to share it with them.
Podcast, Sean Cannell here, and I'm sitting with Chris Ducker. I'm fired up to have him on the show. Author of The Rise of the Youpreneur, serial entrepreneur, runs multiple different businesses, over 300 different team members, and really is powerful at helping us as business owners and entrepreneurs develop a powerful personal brand and monetize it. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this session. But Chris, not only am I fired up that you're on the Think Marketing podcast, I'm fired up that you're speaking at Grow with Video Live this year in September, and we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
But for those that are just meeting you, man, what's kind of your backstory in business and entrepreneurship and kind of how you help people?
Man, how long you got? I often say that, honestly, at the very core of what I do, I'm just a sales guy, genuinely. My entire world in terms of my career has been around sales and marketing ever since I was 17 years old. I had my first telemarketing job, and from there I've worked with large teams, small teams. I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years. We've built several different businesses, a couple of which have flopped horrifically, and some of them have done very, very well indeed. And so now what I focus on is helping people build businesses, future-proof businesses, profitable businesses based around their personal brand and really what they love doing and what they're great at doing.
Yeah, I'm fired up about this topic. And first of all, to get into it, I want to talk to kind of two different types of people in the Think community. On the one hand, we've got people that are already kind of clear on the fact that they want to tap into being a thought leader, an author, a speaker, maybe create courses, turn their knowledge into a business. And so they're already kind of there. But then we also have this whole community of business owners that are realizing that as a business owner, they've got their thing. They might even be brick and mortar. But that they're like, man, do I need to build a personal brand? Is this social media thing for me different than just putting up an account for my business, for my local shop, for me as a real estate agent? So let's just kind of unpack why personal branding and why does it matter to the Think community?
Look, at the end of the day, we all have a personal brand. It's called our reputation. That's just fact. Whether you identify with it as a personal brand is obviously something we got to work on, right? The reason why it's important is because I believe at this point in history, we are more likely, way more turned on, and more excited, and more fired up about working with other people, more so than ever before in the history of the world. Plain simple. People want to do business with other people. We don't necessarily want to do business with big brands, actually. Some of us don't have a problem doing it, but do we that human connection, I think, is being, the thirst for that human connection is deeper than it's ever been before. Because here we are in a very hyper-connected world, more so than ever, yet we've never been more disconnected as a human race.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself screams personal branding, screams relationship building, and relationships are the single most important thing in business, in life, period.
So if you were sitting down at kitchen table talk, not classroom, not someone who's just getting into this idea of personal branding, what do you think that means in the first actions? Like, how could someone do an audit if they're saying, okay, well, do I have a personal brand? I mean, I know it's my reputation, but let's talk about online.
Yeah.
what's sort of the lens that you'd be thinking about for getting your personal brand in order?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to figure out who you are and what you want to be known for. Like, that's key, because it all begins with that one thing. So you've got to define who you are, plain simple. So the 3 big questions. Number 1, who am I? Like, what am I good at? Secondly, what do I actually want to be known for? That's a big one.
Yeah.
Because you might be really good at something, but you might not actually want to be known for it. There might be something else, right? Something you're passionate about, something that you're kind of good at, but you need to work on a little bit more. And then lastly, not to get too deep or too rah-rah, it's legacy. You know, what do you want to be remembered for? And this is just very, like super recent, news and history with the death of Kobe Bryant. And here I am sitting here as a Celtics fan, giving a Laker all the love in the world. As a father, I knew he had kids, and it's sad to a certain degree, he passes away at a very, very young age. Yet we don't really get to know the man until he's no longer with us. So he might be known for his accomplishments on the basketball court, but will he be remembered just as a basketball player? No. He'll be remembered as a dad and as a husband, a philanthropist, and somebody who wanted to help girls' sports and all that kind of stuff. So it can get quite deep. You can go as deep as you want to go with it. But really, the first step, Sean, if you don't know who you are and what you want to be known for, that's the end of the journey right there. You've got to figure out what you want to be known for and how to define yourself.
That's powerful, and I love also that you ultimately bring it to legacy. That's one of the huge values of our event, of our company, where we want to be, we think we're in the biggest era to impact others.
Totally.
Which, it's just the internet, it's social media, it's the fact of interconnectivity that we have opportunities now that just didn't exist before. And we're seeing it happen. I mean, we just hit 1 million subscribers on Think Media. I'm a small town kid.
Dude, that's rocking.
College dropout.
I love that.
Started shooting videos in my bedroom.
Yes.
We're connected. If you're listening to this, we're connected. I mean, because of social media, podcasting, YouTube. So what's really step 2, though? Once you've got that kind of dialed in, what do you want to do next to establish your personal brand? Maybe picking platforms. Is that where you go next, or is there a step before?
There's a step before that as well. So step number 2 is to figure out who you want to serve. So now you've figured out who I am, what I want to be known for. Step 2, figure out who I'm going to serve. So who is your perfect customer? Who's your perfect avatar, to use a cool trendy word, right? Ultimately, it's your perfect customer. Because yes, we want to serve people. We want to help people. We want to inspire and motivate people, but we're building a business, right? We need to make money as well. So it's a perfect customer is what it is, not an avatar. It's a customer.
Yeah.
And you got to build that out. What problems are they having that I got solutions for or can create solutions for? Number 2, what questions roll around in their head when they're trying to go to sleep at night that they need answers to that I've got? I'm going to serve those answers up. And once you know what's going on in regards to those 2 things right there, you can figure out who that perfect customer is. And then it goes on to
Step 3,
platforms, how I'm going to reach them, where are they going to find me, what am I going to do to turn them on, how, give me a reason to become somebody's favorite.
Yeah.
That's the big one right there.
And that makes sense, because once you know who you're trying to reach, now you want to pick the best platforms to reach that type of person.
It makes everything so much easier when you know who you're talking to. Your messaging, your verbiage, all of your marketing copy, just even actually the way your website looks, the type of logo you have. Once you know who you're serving, everything becomes so much easier. And why swim against the current unless you really need to, right?
Yes.
So, now we're kind of, I was literally just doing a coaching session with 20, 30 people just an hour ago. And the big question was like, well, there was a lady there who is involved in t-shirt printing and apparel for millennials. Where do I go to hang out? I said, Instagram and YouTube. That's where the millennials are hanging out. So simple as that. Oh, you don't think LinkedIn? I'm not buying t-shirts on LinkedIn.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think it really comes down to what you're going to be known for, who you're going to be serving, and where they're hanging out. And once you figure that out, you can do likewise.
We're going to be talking about the technical side. How do you rank your videos, and SEO. And we have guest speakers that are doing video on so many different platforms in so many different ways. What kind of tactical things are you up to right now? Maybe just in your own business. I know you're taking YouTube seriously, and that's...
Oh man, I should say, I'm excited about going to this event for myself, like just for selfish reasons right now, because, I've been on YouTube for a decade, but I haven't genuinely taken it all that seriously up until maybe just a few months ago. Genuinely.
Yeah.
It was like the video graveyard where we would just kind of dump stuff that we wanted to kind of embed elsewhere kind of thing.
Yep.
And now we're taking it much more seriously. And, it comes with no shock to the system to know that with that added focus that we've unleashed onto the channel since the beginning of this year, more subscribers than ever before, more views than ever before. We've even got older videos with affiliate links in the descriptions that are making us money now for the first time in like years.
Because they've been reactivated by the new action that you're doing on the channel.
Exactly. So I'm excited to come to the event just to hang out and learn myself. It'll be a pleasure to speak, don't get me wrong, but I'm coming to learn as well. But I think, for me, the big thing for me is that, it also comes down to the repurposing side of things, because it's very, very, very hard to be everywhere all the time, right? If you start with video, however, everything from there becomes easier. You can rip the audio out and turn it into an audio podcast. You can, rip certain sections out of the video, 2 minutes here, a minute there, 30 seconds there, and share them all over social. And it's about spreading your message at the end of the day. You might be interested in sitting down and watching a 45-minute chat with me on how I built multiple businesses. But there might be somebody else out there that just needs 2 minutes of content from me to light the fire under their bottom that they need to be able to go ahead and do what they need to do to take things to the next level. Everyone's different, and that's why I love video as a format, is because you can chop and change it in so many different ways. Turn it into an infographic, done. Turn it into a blog post, done. Turn it into a slide deck, done. There's so many different options with it, and I think that's why it's so exciting. It's a very, very exciting time.
And it's not even the topic of today's conversation, but
No.
when you get into repurposing
Yeah.
or going multi-platform, you come into the quandary of, well, how am I going to sustain that myself? And you're the expert on virtual staffing, right?
Yes.
You wrote the book, Virtual Freedom.
Yes.
And so, of course, check out the description below, The Rise of the Upreneur, Virtual Freedom, like your resources are all time and world class. And so anyways, we're not going to get into that now. That's why you got to come to Grow a Video, because
that's part 2, 3, and 4.
yeah, no
Right?
doubt. Because you need help. Like you
Yes.
take that top of, if you will, pyramid kind of content that then trickles down. Who's editing that and those types of things. But I want to talk about next monetization. Because I think there's the power with personal branding, not just to grow your existing business. When you have a powerful personal brand, you're going to get more clients, customers, you're going to have more goodwill. Business is done with people who know, like, and trust you. So when you have a strong personal brand, no matter what your business is, it's going to help. But the power of the era we're living in is you can also monetize your personal brand in multiple ways. What are some of the things and opportunities that exist for us as we build our personal brand?
I mean, here's the thing. There are, way more opportunities today to monetize our expertise than we've ever had before. At the very, very easiest way to be able to do it is about picking that low-hanging fruit of coaching and consulting. Now, it's not the most scalable model, obviously, right? But the fact of the matter is that there are people out there that will be more than happy to pay to access your experience, download it from your brain, and put it into theirs to fast track their own journey. So coaching and consulting, not scalable, no, but a great way to start monetizing pretty much out of the gate. Because if you're an expert in something, it doesn't matter what it is. Let's say, for example, you've been on LinkedIn for 15 years and you've been helping people build out their LinkedIn profiles and their presence on LinkedIn. You're an expert on LinkedIn. There are people who'd be happy to pay $500, $600, $700 an hour to sit with you to learn how to do that to further their careers.
To get 15 years compressed into 50 minutes.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. So coaching and consulting, number one, lowest hanging monetization fruit, hands down. Secondly, if you're an expert, the chances are you're creating content to prove that, right? To build your tribe, to build your community, to spread your message. So obviously, with a little bit of luck, you're being smart and you're building an email list along the same time. Affiliate marketing. Drop some of those affiliate links. You do this beautifully yourself. Drop some of those affiliate links to gear or to services or products. Be careful not to do it just to anything. Obviously, a little integrity will go a long way. But if you utilize the product before, or you enjoy a service that you use regularly, you can easily drop that in there. Talk about it. Talk about the benefits of using that product or service. And people, because they trust you, as you said, they're more likely to click on that link that you've provided them and buy through you than they are just to go to Amazon and search for it randomly, right? Number 3. We'll keep going here. Number 3 is really digital content. This is where it does get very scalable, because you create an online course once, as you well know, and you sell it over and over and over and over again. Now, whether it's a mini course, kind of like an entry-level type product, 5 videos, $500, or whether it's a flagship course of 20 different videos and modules, printouts, and all the rest of it for $2,000 or something. It doesn't really matter what it is. It can be anything in between any of that. But the fact is, this is experience, this is know-how, these are tips, tactics, strategies that really work for the people that you're wanting to inspire and help. And you put that into a digital format and ultimately turn that into an online course, and you sell it all day long. That's truly scalable. Every personal brand entrepreneur better have an online course, because there are going to be probably a good 20 to 25% of the people that come into contact with them are going to be ripe to buy that course at some point in their journey.
Yeah, and here at Think Marketing Podcast is one of the things we're the biggest fan of. I mean, the e-learning industry.
Oh, yeah.
And there's, of course, the article by Forbes that by 2025, it's going to be nearly $1 billion a day industry.
It's crazy.
$1 billion a day.
When I saw that statistic, I almost spat out my coffee.
Right?
I couldn't believe a day.
And that's what we're looking at over the next 5 years. We're looking at over this opportunity that people are now realizing that education is being flipped upside down. It's being decentralized, and we're empowered as individuals to help people with what we've learned, help them learn from our mistakes, help them go further, faster, package our knowledge into a digital course. And it's one of our favorite ways to monetize because there's all the perks. I mean, even you're not shipping or returning anything, so you don't have a garage full of books.
So good.
Or products that have malfunction, and you have to worry about a shipping container from China that just has some moisture in it or something.
Right.
Refunds are easy to do, and interaction, it's digital.
Not to mention the fact, though, from the person who buys the course, it's digital. They can access it anywhere in the world, on any device. They can watch it when they're on an airplane or traveling by train.
Get it instantly. They don't have to wait for shipping.
Yep.
Yeah, so
it's huge.
There's so many benefits and perks, and it's just one of the income streams. One of our community members in our Inner Circle program, where we talk a lot about how to build an online course, is McCain Dogs. Big YouTube channel, helping people to get their dogs to sit, heel, stop peeing on the carpet.
I need them to come to my house.
You need them to come train your dogs. They've got 70 employees. They've got where they're locally training dogs, but they've also then packaged their expertise in an online course, which is just another income stream and something that they can continue to scale up to give them either more profitability, more impact, global reach. Yep. And so it is our belief, we agree with you 100%, that every single personal brand business owner should highly consider creating a digital course of their knowledge and expertise.
Absolutely. It really just comes, like, people overthink this so much, and it really comes down to just surveying your audience, find out where the pain points are, ask one very simple question: what are you struggling with right now? Looking at the information, because that's an open-ended question. Mm-hmm. That's not a close-ended yes, no, tomorrow, today, Monday, Tuesday type question. That's an open-ended question. Open-ended questions open up the floodgates to information. Once you've got information, as we all know, it's one of the most valuable commodities on the planet. You can genuinely go ahead and you can take that information to one side and you can figure out how to best solve that problem for that person. And at the very core of what we do as entrepreneurs, as content creators, as people that we genuinely want to inspire and help other people out there, at the very core of what we do, we're just problem solvers. Don't have any delusions of grandeur. That's all we're really doing.
That's it.
Is solving people's problems. And if we do it the right way, we get the opportunity to put a price tag on it.
Man, I love it. Hey, you've got to get your tickets to Grow a Video Live so you can hear Chris speak and connect with him. He's going to be hanging out at the conference. He's just a vault of incredible knowledge. But if people want to connect with you, where can they find you online? And, of course, we'll link up to your books and other resources.
Well, I'm at Chris Ducker on all the socials. The two channels I use the most, without a doubt, are Instagram and now YouTube. You'll be happy to know. ChrisDucker.com, youpreneur.com. and hell, just Google me. I'm a personal brand entrepreneur. If I don't own the first page of Google, then there's a problem
There's
there.
a problem. I love that. Hey, final word of encouragement too. As an entrepreneur, some people listening, some are in their legacy years, they've built businesses, some are just starting, and entrepreneurship's a roller coaster. And you've been at the highs and the lows. Can you just kind of close us off with some wisdom, kind of encouragement for persisting through every stage of entrepreneurship?
Look, the fact is that it ain't an easy journey, man. There have been nights where I have laid awake, as you have probably have as well, worrying, stressing, crying sometimes. And then there's been times where I'm jumping up and down like a 12-year-old schoolgirl, and just loving life, right? The fact of the matter is, I'm a big believer of this, particularly as somebody who's all about personal brand and, empowering other people to take the steps forward they need to be able to go ahead and do likewise with their community. And I will say this: be uniquely and unapologetically you all the time, because the world really, truly, honestly does need what only you can bring to it. I don't care what industry you're in, who your competitors are, or who you think they are. It doesn't matter. Just be you all the time. And what happens is you'll market like a magnet. The right people will come into your ecosystem, and at the very same time, you will reject the people and repel the other people away. They're the people we don't want in our ecosystem. So just be you all the time.
Wow. Personal branding, Sean. That was such an amazing podcast. And it made me realize I need to get to work on my personal brand even more after listening to that with Chris.
Yeah, I love Chris so much. And what's cool about that episode and Chris himself is that, when it comes to personal branding, sometimes I think it gets a bad rap. You think of personal branding, you think, oh yeah, those Instagram influencers that are just all about themselves and all they do is work with companies that they don't really believe in or whatever. But we're really seeing that, no, personal branding is for every business owner, every entrepreneur. And Chris is such an authority to teach on that. I mean, he's launched multiple businesses, had huge successes, huge failures. Now he has almost like 300 employees, and he's running multiple different ventures. And so I think he's just such an authority on the fact that it doesn't matter if you want to be a course creator, coach, consultant, kind of network marketer, personal brand entrepreneur, or if you want to be like one of our other Think Marketing podcast guests and Grow with Video Live speakers, Roger Wakefield, who's got a plumbing business in Dallas. He's got a team, but he understands the power of personal branding. And what's happening in his business is distinctly accelerating him past the competition because they're ignoring personal branding. I'd say this, Think Marketing podcast community: if you ignore personal branding, it'll be to your own detriment and peril, especially in this decade. It's the era of all of us needing a personal brand, our reputation. And so, I love Chris. And I'm so pumped that he's going to be speaking at Growth Video Live this year.
Yeah, I cannot wait to sit in Chris's session, take notes, because he's going to be teaching more about, like you said, how he's been growing these businesses and really how to scale.
Yes. And also remember that here at the Think Marketing podcast, we don't just listen, but we take action. Information is okay, but execution is where things really begin to happen. So write down one of your next steps. Like, what's a takeaway for you? Is it to really think about the questions that Chris Ducker outlined? What problem do you solve? Who is it that you help? Those types of things. And to get clear, maybe update your Instagram bio, your YouTube channel about page. Maybe tweak your strategy. Put something on paper, put it on your calendar, and let's get some results. Because, hey, we're committed to helping you get results, but you have to take massive action to do so.